Hello students. Next in the transient analysis, we will consider an RLC circuit. So if you remember, we had previously seen for the case of transient analysis for RL circuits and for RC circuits. Basically what we had was either an R with an L or an R with a C. And in all the cases, for example, if I go to previous problem that we have done, in all these cases, we had considered the voltage V of t to be either a step input in one case, another case it was a impulse input, and the last one it was basically a sinusoidal input. So what happens in each of these cases and what is the output final equation of the current in each one of those, that is what we had done. Now here what we are going to do is we are going to consider the case of an RLC circuit, and again we are going to find out the value of I of t. Okay. So what is our aim? The question is basically, let me write the question, otherwise the question is, for the given circuit, find I of t for t greater than 0. That means after this switch is switched on, I have to find out the equation of current I of t. So if you remember, what we had done previously was we take the circuit in the time domain, we take it to the frequency domain, which is also called as, or which is basically having the variable as s, and for this we use the Laplace transform. We find out the answer for I of s, which is basically the Laplace transform of I of t, and then we calculate the I of t by taking the Laplace or inverse Laplace transform, Laplace inverse transform or inverse Laplace transform. So instead of taking this route of directly going and finding out I of t using complex integration and differentiation equations, here we are adopting to use the Laplace transform for solving this, and that is what has been our general method of solving this. So let us consider this case here wherein we have to find out what is I of t. If you remember, we had considered find I of t for t when we are having V of t is equal to delta t. Second is when we are having V of t is unit step u of t. Okay, unit step u of t. And finally, the third case where V of t is either a sine or a cosine. Okay, we can take any what do you say, whether it's a sine, whether it's a cosine. Let me take that it is sine of t. Sine of t means the omega value, sine of omega t, omega is 1 here. Okay, so this is what we are going to do for the transient analysis of RLC circuit. So each and every case we have to very carefully observe. So first step that we do is we find the transform circuit. So transform circuit. The transform circuit is where we transform the circuit from time domain to frequency domain. So V of t, so first one is V of t is equal to delta of t, and we know that the Laplace transform of delta of t is 1. So I will consider this as 1 plus minus, the switch is now closed, and here we are having 2 ohms, then we are having 1h, if you remember, the inductor L can be changed to Ls. So here L is equal to 1, so this one will become S ohms. And similarly the capacitor, if you remember the capacitor, if it is a capacitor C, then we used to transform it to 1 by Cs. So here C is 1 farad, so I can write this as 1 by S ohms. And this is what is the circuit for the transform circuit, and then the current I of t is basically I of S. Okay, the current I of t is basically I of S. Now I have to consider the case of how to solve this. So the first step is over, that is transform circuit. Now for finding I of S, apply KVL. So if I apply KVL to this loop, we know front of the element, so this is plus minus, this is again plus minus based on the direction of current, correct? So if I apply, then I will get 1 minus 2 I of S minus S I of S minus 1 by S I of S is equal to 0, from which I will get, if I am going to rearrange, I will get 1 is equal to 2 plus S plus 1 by S I of S. I have taken these three terms the right side. Therefore, I can write I of S is equal to 1 divided by 2 plus S plus 1 by S, and from which therefore I of S I can write. Now what can I write? So if I cross multiply, I will get in the denominator 2S, then the second term will be S into S, which is S square, so that is higher power, so I will write it in the front. So 2S plus S square plus 2S plus 1. Now the denominator is totally S, which I can take it in the numerator, because in the numerator there is only 1, so 1 into S will give me S here, so I have to take away this S at the denominator. Okay. So now this is what is my I of S, from which I can actually find out the partial fraction. Okay, so I will write using partial fraction. Okay, for doing partial fraction I have to first find out what are the factors of the denominator. So in the numerator I am having S. For the denominator I have to use a calculator, and I have to substitute for the value of first value is 1, second is 2, and the third value is again 1, based on which I will get the value of S as minus 1. So I get at the denominator, I can factorize this using quadratic equation as S plus 1 into S plus 1, or I can write it as S divided by S plus 1 square. So if you have got this, so using partial fraction, how can I write I of S? I of S can be written as, if you remember, multiple poles, I write A divided by, so let me first write the equation, which is S divided by, so it is S divided by S plus 1 the whole square, that is going to be A divided by S plus 1. I suppose you remember this. For the case of multiple poles, if you remember, if you look at case 2, we are having multiple poles, we write its higher powers, and on the top we write only one, that means B1, B2, B3, like that. So if I borrow from this idea and I put it here, I will get A by S plus 1 plus B divided by S plus 1 square. S plus 1 square. So now I have to solve to get the value of A and B. If you remember, A can be found out using the method of s plus 1 multiplied with I of s when the value of s is equal to minus 1. So sorry, here I cannot do this because it's multiple poles, so I will instead use cross multiplication. That is another method, isn't it? So if I multiply, if I take a common denominator, then I have to multiply a with s plus 1 plus b, and that is going to be s divided by s plus 1 square. Therefore I will get, therefore s is equal to, the denominators will cancel off, and I will get as plus a plus b, from which equating coefficients, the coefficient of s is 1 here it is a. So if I equate the coefficient, I will get a is equal to 1. So a is equal to 1, and a plus b is equal to 0, because there is no constant term in this side. So a plus b is equal to 0. Therefore b is equal to minus a, which is going to be minus 1. Therefore I of s can now be written as a is 1 divided by s plus 1, and b is minus 1 divided by s plus 1 the whole square. Now we can use the partial fraction, now we can do the inverse inverse transform, where from the table you can see that I can get, for the case of for the case of s minus plus a square, it is just t e raised to power minus or plus 80, plus or minus 80. Similarly, for a simple pole, it is going to be e raised to power minus 80. Of course, there is u of t, so that I have to take care. So based on that, therefore taking inverse Laplace transform, so therefore taking inverse Laplace transform, I will get I of t, I will get I of t as the Laplace inverse Laplace transform of 1 by s plus 1 is e raised to power minus t, then minus 1 is there, so minus this one is going to be e raised to power, t into e raised to power. Why? Because I am having the denominator s plus 1 square, that square is for t, so I will have minus of t e raised to power minus t, u of t is there, so I will write for t greater than 0. So that's what we do. We find out the transform circuit, we solve the equation, find out what is the current I of s, take the inverse of that, that's all. So let us look at the second case, wherein we are having v of t is equal to u of t. So the second case is v of t is equal to u of t. Again I will draw the transform circuit. So again I have drawn the transform circuit, and here v of t is u of t, and we know that u of t Laplace transform is basically 1 by s. So this, instead of 1, I will write 1 by s. Previously it was 1, now it is 1 by s. So therefore applying KVL. So if I apply KVL, again I will have to write the front of the element, back of the element, what are the polarities. So from this, if I am going to choose just front of the element, then I can write 1 by s minus 2 is minus 5 is minus 1 by it is not 5, this is always a mistake I make, I always confuse between s and 5. Okay, so this is S, and this is 1 by S into I of S is equal to 0. Therefore, I can say 1 by S is equal to 2 plus S plus 1 by S into I of S, which I can very conveniently write as S square plus 2S plus 1 divided by S into I of S. So, therefore, from this equation I will get I of S is equal to, S and S will cancel off, so I will get 1 divided by S square plus 2S plus 1, which I can write it in partial fraction. For doing partial fraction, again I will get this as S plus 1 square. Okay. Now, not every time you will get S plus 1. See, if the value of capacitor and inductor here would have been different, I would have got something else here. Suppose if this would have been, instead of 1 ohm, it would have been 3 ohms, then I would have got some other value. Okay, I would have got some other value. See, anyway, here it is S plus 2, S plus 1 square. So, based on that, I have to do the partial fraction. So, using partial fraction, partial fraction, I will write 1 by S plus 1 the whole square can be written as A divided by S plus 1 plus B divided by S plus 1 square. Okay, and again using cross multiplication I will get 1 is equal to A S plus 1 plus B, because again the denominator are same, they will cancel off. So 1 is equal to AS plus A plus B. Now equating coefficients, I will get the value of, AS is having a value A here, whereas here the coefficient of S is 0. Therefore, A is equal to 0 and A plus B is equal to, since A is 0, it is same as B, that is equal to 1. Therefore, B is equal to 1. Therefore, I can write, therefore I of S is again simply 1 by S plus 1 square. So actually, in a way, I did not have to do this. It's a waste I did this, because I have got the same result. Correct? And again, it is, you can take the inverse Laplace transform. So by inverse Laplace transform, what I get is I of t is e raised to power, t into e raised to power minus t u of t for t greater than 0. So this is what is going to be the response or the current that is going to go when you are having a step. When is it step? When it's a continuous. Previous case we had was for the case of impulse, that was delta t. This is u of t. Next I will have to go for the the sign. Okay, so again, if I want to change here, I can change that. If I want to change, I can change that, but since it's the same problem, I will do it, because so the third one is when v of t is equal to sine t, where if you remember sine omega t was written, if you take the Laplace transform, its Laplace transform was omega divided by s square plus omega square. Correct? So based on that, I will write, therefore sine of t Laplace transform is going to be 1 divided by s square plus 1 square, which is 1. Now if I draw the transform circuit again, I will get, instead of the voltage, being 1 by s or 1, here it is 1 by s square plus 1. That's all. Okay, so now, applying KVL. Applying KVL, what will I get? So if you would look here, again I will have to draw the polarity, because the current is going from left to right. I will write plus and minus. Okay, so if I want to write this thing, then I will write front of the element, then it is going to be 1 divided by s square plus 1 minus 2i of s minus s I of s. The last one is minus 1 by s I of s is equal to 0, from which, just like last time, here also I will take the right hand side, 2 plus s plus 1 by s into I of s, which I can write it as s square plus 2s plus 1 divided by s into I of s. Now if I am going to take it the other side and all, I will get what? Therefore I of s is going to be equal to s divided by s square plus 1 is going to be there, and then we are going to have s square plus 2s plus 1, which basically comes out to be s divided by s square plus 1, and this one, if factorize, you will get s plus 1 the whole square. Okay, s plus 1 the whole square, and this is totally now a new equation for I of s. So let me write that separately here. I of s is going to be equal to s divided by s square plus 1 into s plus 1 the whole square. Okay, now how to write the partial fraction of this one? So if you would remember, for quadratic equations like this, I will write as plus b in the numerator divided by s square plus 1, and plus for the second case I will use c divided by s plus 1 plus d divided by s plus 1 the whole square. Okay, so now the equation is slightly bigger. So again I will use the cross multiplication technique. So I will get s is equal to as plus b. What is remaining here? S square plus 1 is there. So what is remaining is this s plus 1 the whole square. So this I have to multiply with s plus 1 the whole square, which is s square plus 2s plus 1 plus c multiplied with both s square plus 1, sorry, and with let me see, am I missing here something? No. Okay, s square plus 1 multiplied with s plus 1. Okay, and then I am having plus d. What is remaining is s square plus 1. Okay, so s is equal to okay, let me name this as equation number 1, because there are many different ways to solving it. I'm just using one of the methods. So here I'm having s plus 1. So okay, let me expand this. So this is going to be as cube plus 2as square plus as plus bs square plus 2bs plus b plus, what is this one? This combination, which is going to be s cube plus s square plus 1. That when multiplied with c, I will get cs cube plus, I will first write s square, so cs square plus s cs plus 1, sorry, c. Okay, so that's how I'm going to get the expanded form of this one. Plus, so let me, even here let me write it. So CS plus C. This is going to be CS plus C. So it is plus CS plus C plus ds square plus d. Therefore, equating coefficients, what do I get? If I am going to equate the coefficients, I will get, okay, first I have to write everything together, otherwise I cannot do the, first I will write all the powers together, okay. So therefore, I will write S is equal to, now S cube, which all S cube are there? This one is there and this is there. So I will write A plus C S cube plus S square. So here I am having 1, here I am having 1, here there is 1 and here there is 1. And it seems like it is going to be 3a plus b plus, it's not 3a, sorry, 2a, sorry. A plus b plus c plus d is going to be the coefficient for S square. Now for S, it is this one, and this. So it is going to be a plus b plus, sorry, 2b, let me write it properly, a plus 2b plus c is the coefficient for S, and finally what all are remaining is the constant values. One is this b, and another is C, and the third one is D. So B plus C plus D is going to be equal to, sorry, it's not going to be equal to anything. Yeah, this is what the equation is, B plus C plus D. Okay, now I am going to equate the coefficient. So equating coefficients, what do I get? So there is no coefficient of S cube, so it is A plus C is going to be equal to 0. This is my second equation. Similarly, S square term is also different, so 2A plus B plus C plus D is going to be equal to 0. This is the third equation. The fourth equation is A plus 2B plus C is going to be equal to 1. So it is going to be the fourth equation. The last is B plus C plus D is going to be equal to 0. Okay, so this gives us the fifth one, which is this option. So out of which, directly from 3 and, see, there are, how many unknowns are there? A, B, C, D, 4 unknowns are there. 4 unknowns, and we are having how many equations? 4 equations. So it can be solved. But the only problem is we cannot use the calculator because there are 4 unknowns. We can do a calculator, or we can use a calculator only when there are 3 unknowns. Now, this can very quickly become a 3 unknown equation set, because if you look at equation number 3 and 5, see, equation number 3 and 5, B plus C plus D is already there here, and what is that? That is equal to 0. So from 3 and 5, so what is in 3? B plus C plus D is equal to 0. Therefore 2A should also be equal to 0. Correct? 2A should also be equal to 0, or A is equal to 0. Okay, A is equal to 0. Now from 2, see, I have already got A is equal to 0. So actually I can write this set of 4 equations I can write it as another set of 4 equations, but there are only 3 unknowns because A is already 0. You are having now 3 unknowns, B, C, D. So actually we can solve it by that method by using a calculator because we will have 3 equations and we can do it. But again it's very simple here because from 2, if you look at 2, A plus C is equal to 0. A we have already found out is equal to 0. Therefore C is also going to be equal to 0. Why? Because A is already 0. So C. So if A plus C has to be 0, therefore C has to be 0. So A is also 0, C is also 0. If A and C are 0, then looking at equation number 4, from equation number 4, A plus 2B plus C is equal to 1. Therefore, B is equal to A plus C is already 0. So what remains is B is going to be equal to 1 by 2. So if that is all known, then only need is to find out D. So from 5 I will get B plus C plus D, where B is 1 by 2 plus C is 0. We have already found out C to be 0, plus D is equal to 0. Therefore D is equal to minus 1 by 2. So I have found out the value of A, B, C and D. Now I will substitute it back in my equation. So this is the equation 1. So therefore equation 1 becomes, I of S. Now in partial fraction, it is AS plus B. What is A? A is 0. So AS is going to be 0. B is 1 by 2 divided by S square plus 1. S square plus 1. Now what I will do is I will write 1 by 2 as a constant. So let me write this here as 1 by 2 into 1 divided by, plus the second one was C is already 0. So C will go here, in this equation C will become 0. D is 1 by 2, therefore I can write that term. So it is again 1 by 2 multiplied with 1 divided by S plus 1 the whole square. So let me write it properly. So this is going to be 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 into this. Now taking inverse Laplace transform, I will get I of t is going to be equal to, this is basically going to be equal to half, and if you remember, omega divided by s square plus omega square, if I take the inverse Laplace transform, I will get sine omega t. So here also again omega is 1, so therefore I can write it as sine t, plus we already know 1 by s plus a the whole square can be written as inverse Laplace. If I take, I will get t e raised to power minus at. So based on that, the second one I will get 1 by 2 into t e raised to power minus a. A is 1, so minus t for t greater than 0. So this is the third question that we had to do. And again, so you can see that every time our method of solving is, you first draw the transform circuit, then using KVL or KCL find out the value of I of S, and then use Laplace inverse transform or use partial fraction and then Laplace inverse transform to find out I of t. So that is basically what we do every time. Now see, what you should remember is this question will not directly come like this. If it ever comes, it is very rarely it comes directly like this. What may come, and this is important, what may come is you may have to find out what is the voltage across this. So they will say find V of t. Instead of I of t, they will ask you to find V of t. See, what is V of t? V of t can be basically found out. If you look at the transform circuit, they are basically asking you to find V of s. So if you want to find V of s, what is V of s? V of s is equal to I of s into 1 by s. So instead of doing partial fraction of I of s, I will multiply I of s with 1 by s and then get V of s and then do its partial fraction and then try to find out V of t. So the question may be that try to find out the current here, or it may be to find the voltage here, or maybe the voltage here, VL of t. That is what they might be interested to find out. So it can be anything. Another thing is that, see, now this is a very simple RLC circuit or RC circuit or RL circuit we have already seen are very simple. There can be cases where the RL circuit may look not like this, they may look sometimes like this. You are having an R in parallel with L and you are asked, so that there is, this switch is there and this is connected to some plus minus V of t, and you are asked to find out what is this current I of t, and this is suppose 5 ohms and this is 1 by 2 farads. So again, what is the step? The step is you have to transform this circuit. This one will become plus minus V of s, whatever is the value of V of t, you have to take the Laplace transform of that, and then the resistance will become 5 ohm itself, and the Faraday is 1 by Cs, from which you will get here 2 by S ohms, and then you have to find out I of s. So again, what will be I of s? V of s divided by whatever is the parallel combination. So like that, there might not be always RLC becoming RL circuit or RC circuit. Always it will come in a series. There is no requirement like that. There is no guarantee like that. The circuit may be anything. For example, the RL circuit may come like this. There is R here, there is an L here, and there is a C in its parallel. And this is the V of t, plus minus V of t. And you will be asked to find out what is the voltage across this thing. So you will be asked to find out what is Vp of t. I am just taking Vp of t. Or it can be a resistor in parallel with capacitor. So anything, any kind of equation, whatever you are getting, always remember the first step. The first step is to find out the transform circuit. The second step is to find out the required quantity to find. In our case, it was I of s, or whatever is the quantity you are asked to find out. The third is partial fraction and Laplace inverse you have to find. So I of t is found. That is the last step. So these three steps you have to always do for RLC also. So what we have done up till now, let me summarize. In module 3, what we have done up till now is we have seen what happens in a transient analysis of RL circuit, RC circuit and RLC circuit when, now this is important, up till now when we have considering that the elements are having no initial energy. That means we have not yet taken, like up till now we have taken that the inductor had no previous running current through it. Only after the switch closed, the current started to flow in it. Before that, the switch was open and you can only write L as Ls, and similarly capacitor you always write it as 1 by Cs. Okay, in next session we will try to concentrate on those problems wherein you are having the switch, everything is there, but there is some initial charge stored in either the inductor or the capacitor. And what will happen in that case is basically the transient analysis, and that is little bit difficult than the other portions of this module, and of course it is very much asked in the final examination. Okay, so we will stop here. So RLC circuit analysis for unit step, impulse and sinusoidal is solved. Thank you.